Hello, everyone. Tonight, I am going to share something a little different with you, and it's called What Tevye Taught Me About Letting Go. Not long ago, I came across an old book called Tevye's Daughters. It was written by Sholem, Aleichem, and the copy I found was published in 1949, although the stories themselves were written much earlier. And the funny thing is, I wasn't looking for this book. It literally fell into my hands one day at a store. I bought it, brought it home, put it on a shelf, and there it sat. Then one day, something told me to pick it up, so I did. I started reading it one chapter at a time, and almost immediately something strange began happening. Here I was reading stories written more than 100 years ago about a Jewish father, his wife, his daughters, their little village, their traditions, and their struggles. And I kept seeing my own life. Not literally, of course, but the questions underneath the stories. Those felt incredibly current. Questions about marriage, children, money, faith, worry, change, and especially the question of what happens when the people we love make choices we cannot control. So I thought I would share some of these stories with you, not as a literary scholar, because I'm certainly not one. I'm simply going to tell you what I read and what I heard in it and what it made me think about in my own life. Maybe you'll hear something in it for yours. The story I want to talk about today is called Modern Children. But first you need to meet Tevye. Tevye is a poor Jewish dairyman living with his wife and his daughters in Imperial Russia. He's funny, he's stubborn, he's deeply devoted to his family. He talks to God constantly, and he worries a lot, which may be one of the reasons I connected with him. In Modern Children, Tevye believes he's done something wonderful for his oldest daughter, Tistel, and he's found her husband. The man's name is Lazar Wolf. Lazar is an older, prosperous butcher, and to Tevye, this looks like a wonderful opportunity. His daughter won't have to struggle financially the way he and his wife have. She'll have security, she'll be provided for, her future will be safe. There's just one problem. His daughter doesn't want to marry Lazar. She loves someone else, a poor young tailor named Mattel. And yes, that is Mattel, like the place you stop for a night, like motel. But I believe it's called Mattel. Mattel doesn't have Lazar's money. He doesn't have Lazar's security. He certainly cannot promise Tevye that his daughter will have an easy life, but his daughter loves him. And suddenly Tevye is confronted with something that must have seemed almost upside down to him. He has spent his life believing that one of his responsibilities as a father is to help arrange and secure a future for his children. And now his daughter is essentially telling him, I know you want what's best for me, but I need to choose what's best means for me, myself. And Tevye has a decision to make. He can hold on tighter. He can insist that he's the father and that he knows more about life, that he understands what can go wrong. And frankly, he probably does understand some things his daughter doesn't. Or he can let her choose, even though her choice comes with uncertainty. And that's where this very old story stopped being an old story for me, because I'm a mother and I have adult children. And one of the hardest things I have had to learn is that there comes a point when loving your children and managing their lives are no longer the same thing. When someone I love is struggling or facing an uncertain future, my brain immediately goes to work. What should they do? What happens if this doesn't work? What's the backup plan? Is there something I can fix? Is there something I haven't thought of? Can I somehow get far enough ahead of the problem that I can make sure everything turns out okay? And the crazy thing is, that feels like love, Sometimes it is love, but modern children made me think about the line between loving someone and trying to secure an outcome for them. Because Tevye isn't trying to hurt his daughter. Quite the opposite. He's trying to protect her. He knows poverty. He knows what an uncertain life costs. Lazar represents something a father desperately wants to give his child, which is security. Matal represents uncertainty, and yet his daughter chooses Matal. She isn't asking her father to guarantee that her choice will work. She's asking him to let the choice belong to her, and that hit me really hard. Because there is an enormous difference between saying, I don't care what happens to you, and saying, I love you, but your life belongs to you. And I'm still learning that difference. I can love my children. I can listen to them. I can offer help when help is appropriate. I can be there when they need me. And I can celebrate when things go well. And if something goes terribly wrong, I can still be their mother. But I cannot live far enough into their futures to make certain that nothing ever goes wrong. And maybe more importantly, I don't have to. His uncertainty does not have to become my children's certainties do not have to become an emergency. Their futures do not have to become my assignment. That doesn't mean I don't love them less. Maybe it means I'm finally learning a different way to love them. Tevye eventually bends. Not easily. He's still Tevye. He worries, he argues, he wrestles with what is happening, but he allows his daughter to choose. And I think that's what stayed with me after I closed the book. Tevye doesn't have to stop being a father in order to stop controlling the outcome. And I don't have to stop being a mother in order to let my adult children live their lives. Maybe peace doesn't come from finally knowing that everything is going to be okay. Maybe peace comes when we understand that we were never supposed to know. And we can love someone without knowing how their story turns out. We can support them without writing the next chapter for them. And we can care deeply without carrying every possible future in our own bodies. And maybe peace does not have to wait for certainty. And I want to say that again because I probably have looked at that many times before I can absorb really what it truly means. Peace does not have to wait for certainty. And that's what I took from Modern Children. You may read the very same story and hear something completely different. That's one of the things I've come to love about this old book. I thought I found it by accident, but every once in a while I read one of these stories and wonder if maybe the book found me. Until next time, I hope you find a little peace in whatever you don't have figured out yet. Have a beautiful day.